In this video, we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials together. Now, there's a common method. It's called the FOIL method, where we have the first terms. F stands for the first terms. So you multiply the first terms together. So in this case, it was x times x. And then we have the outer terms. So the two terms that are on the outside. And then we have the inner terms. Our inner terms get multiplied together. And then we have our last terms. Our last terms get multiplied together. And then we simplify and we combine like terms. So again, FOIL. I don't know why I put a P instead of an F. So FOIL. First terms, outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms. And this is a very, very common used math term. I always say FOIL out the polynomial, FOIL out the polynomial, okay? So that's what that stands for, and that's how we're going to be multiplying together. Okay, so finding my product. Okay, so we multiply the first terms together. Y times y, y squared. Outer terms, negative 4y. Inner terms, and then the last terms. Then from here, all we have to do is simplify it or combine like terms. Okay? Okay, so that was a pretty easy example. Something that I personally also see that really helped me learn this, I don't know why, the concept of FOIL just wasn't clicking with me when I was first learning this. It forms a smiley face. You have one eyebrow, another eyebrow, the nose, and the mouth. Once I got that, I totally understood how to FOIL things out. Okay, next one. Oh, find the product. I bet you I intended those to be the same variable. So I'm going to change this to a z. First terms together. Z squared. Outer terms together. Inner terms together. Last terms together. I have a negative times a negative. That turns into a positive 72. I just wanted to confirm what my answer was. So then we combine like terms. And we get a negative 18z plus a 72. Okay, now finding this product. They're going to get more and more complicated. First terms together. Outer terms together. Remember, you have to multiply the 2 times the 6, so that becomes a plus 12. Inner terms. 1 times x, well, that's just x. And then our last terms together. And then we combine like terms to get that. Okay, finding this product now. Again, like I said, they're going to get more and more complicated. 5x times 2x. Well, you multiply the 5 times the 2 to get a 10. X times x is x squared. Outer terms. 5 times 8, well, that is a 40x. The inner terms. And then our last terms, I just want to make sure I did that right. I feel like I didn't do something right there. 40, we have 8. Nope, I'm right. If not, I'm sure you guys will let me know. So then we combine like terms. 40 minus 8 is a negative 32x minus 32. Wow, look at that. I mixed those numbers up. Okay, so that's what we get for that. Okay. Multiplying this. There's two different ways to multiply these. There's one that I'm going to call the distributive property. It's kind of like a version of FOIL. And then there's another method I'm going to teach you that's the box method. So first, I'm going to take this 3a and I'm going to distribute it to every term. So I'm going to distribute 3a times a squared to get me 3a squared, 3a to the third. Then the 3a to the negative 12. Gets me a negative 36, a squared. Then the 3a to the 1. Okay, so all I did was distribute the 3a into each one of the terms of that trinomial. And I use this when, I forgot to highlight that. I use this when I have a binomial, so something with 2 terms, times a trinomial, something with 3 terms. Now what you also have to do is you also have to multiply the 4 through. So 4 times a, well that is a plus 4a squared. 4 times 12, negative 48a. I just want to confirm that. I don't know why I don't trust myself. And then 4 times 1 is 4. Now I just combine my like terms. Okay, 3a squared. I've taken care of that one. I now have negative 36 plus 4. That's a negative 32 a squared. I cross those off. I've taken care of those two. Then I have 3 minus 3a minus 48a. That's a negative 45a plus 4. Okay, now the box method. I really like the box method. What you do is you draw a box. That's why I call it the box method. So you have a binomial. So you have space here for 3a and a 4. So you write out those terms. Then, since you have a trinomial, up top you write out all of those terms across the top. Now what you have to do is you just have to multiply. 3a times a squared, 3a to the third. 3a times a negative 12, well that's a negative 36, a squared. 3a times 1 turns into a 3a. Then I do a squared times 4, well that's going to be a 4. A squared. Then I do 4 times by negative 12. That is a negative 48a. Then I do 4 times 1. That turns into a 4. Now I combine my like terms. So I have 3a squared. And quite honestly, a lot of times they're going to be along the diagonal. I have 4a minus 36. 4 minus 36. Well, that's a negative 32. A squared. Then I have negative 48 plus 3. That's a negative 45a plus 4. Okay? And I should have gotten the same thing. Did I get the same thing? I did get the same thing. Okay? Okay. multiplying this guy through. So, distributive property. And what I'm calling the distributive property is a little different than the book. 2b squared times a b squared, well, that's going to be a 2b to the fourth. 2b squared times by a 3b. And then multiplying to the last term, minus 2b squared. Now I take the next term, this 7b, and I multiply it through. 7b times b squared is a plus 7b to the third. Now 7b times by a 3b, that is a 21b squared. And 7b times by a negative 1, negative 7b. And then I take the 9 and I multiply the 9 through. So 9 times b squared is just 9b squared. I take the 9 and I multiply it to the 3, which is 27. And then lastly, we have a minus 9. So now, again, remember, we want these written in standard form. So I start and I see I have a b to the fourth. I have no other terms that are b to the fourth. Now I combine any terms that are b cubed. 6 plus 7. Well, that's going to be 13b to the third. I have here, I have 3 terms. So I have a negative 2 plus 21 plus 9. And then I have here negative 7b plus 27. That turns into a plus 20b minus a 9. Okay, now this one with the box method. I have a trinomial times a trinomial. So I have to make my box a little bit bigger because I have 3 terms that I'm going to put across the side and 3 that I'm going to put across the top. It doesn't matter which one you put on the top, which one you put on the bottom. I'm just going to stay consistent with what I did with the first example. So the first one I put across the bottom. Next one I'll put across the top. Okay, now it's just a matter of multiplying. And I like this method. It really organizes stuff well. It also kind of prepares you for something you're going to be doing in biology during your sophomore year. So I have 4b to the fourth, 6b to the third, minus 2b squared. Oop, I did have a b squared there. 27b minus 9. So now it's just a matter of combining your like terms. That 4b to the fourth. That's the only one I have of that. So, and then I combine 7b to the third and 6b to the third to get me 13b to the third. Then I have my 9 plus 21 minus 2 b squared. So I combine those. Then I have my 27b minus 7b. That's a 20b. And then minus 9. Did I get the same thing? Hopefully I got the same thing. Oh no, I did not get the same thing. Why didn't I get the same thing? Oh, because I multiplied wrong here. I was looking at this term times this term. Hey, that is a 2b to the fourth. So instead of a 4 there, I should have a 2. So I apologize. You guys have probably been screaming at me all along. Let me see if I got the same thing. The rest of the terms the same. The rest of the terms are the same. So I just couldn't multiply correctly on that first term. I don't know why. Maybe I was thinking about my exponent. That's probably what happened there. Okay, that's my video on multiplying polynomials.